Hello student, in this video we are going to learn about B.F. Skinner operant conditioning theory. So operant conditioning, it is the learning process to make a response more probable or more frequent by reinforcement. It helps in the learning of operant behavior, the behavior that is not necessarily associated with non-stimuli. What is operant according to Behave? So Skinner considered an operant as a set of acts which constitute an organism doing something, that is raising its head, walking about, pushing a lever, and so on. Reinforcer is the stimuli whose representation or removal increases the probability of a response reoccurring. Skinner thinks of two kinds of reinforce: positive and negative. So the positive reinforce is any stimuli that introduction or presentation of which increases the likelihood of a particular behavior, that can be food, water, and so on, are also called as positive reinforcer. And negative reinforcer is any stimuli that removal or withdrawal of which increases the likelihood of a particular or behavior. A loud noise or electric shock are said to be negative reinforcer. What is reinforcement? It is used to make the repetition of an act more probable. An organism tends to do in the future what it was to do at the time of reinforcement. Reinforcement is anything that strengthens a response, anything that promotes learning. A reward is a positive reinforcement, a punishment is a negative reinforcement. In either case, reinforcement is the key to learning. Let us look into B.F. Skinner experiment. So B.F. Skinner conducted an experiment with rats, and he especially designed an apparatus known as Skinner box. And Skinner box is a darkened soundproof box mainly consisting of a grid floor and a system of light or sound produced at the time of delivering the pellet of food in the food pan. So near the food pan, a lever is introduced. It is so arranged so that when a hungry rat presses the lever, the feeder machine is activated. A light or a special sound is produced and a small pellet of food is released into the food pan. For recording the observation of the experiment, the lever is connected with a recording system which produces a graphical tracing or lever pressing against the length of time the rat is in the box. So B.F. Skinner placed a hungry cat in the above description box. He will place a hungry cat in a Skinner box, and in this experiment, pressing of a bar in a desirable way by the rat could result in the production of a click sound and the presence of food pellet. So the click sound acted as a cue or signal indicating to the rat that if it responds by going to the food pan, it will be rewarded. So the cat was rewarded for each of his proper attempt for pressing the lever. So the lever press response having been rewarded was repeated, and when it occurred, it was again rewarded, which further increased the probability of the repetition of the lever press response, and so on. So in this way, ultimately the rat learned the art of pressing the lever as desired by the experimenter. Let us look into educational implications of operant conditioning theory. So, a behavior or response is dependent upon its consequences. For training a learner to be a particular behavior or response, he may be initiated to respond in such a way as to produce the reinforcement stimuli. So, the learner behavior should get rewarded, and he in turn act in such a way that he is rewarded again, and so on. Therefore, the learning process and environment must be so designed in such a way to create the minimum frustration and the maximum satisfaction in the learner, to provide him with proper reinforcement for desired learning. So the principle of operant conditioning may be successfully applied in behavior modification, and also the theory of operant conditioning does not attribute motivation to internal process within the learning. Verbal praise, positive facial expression of a teacher, a feeling of a success, good grade, prizes, medals, and opportunity to do work one likes, all good one likes all good motivators. So operant conditioning does provide an external approach to motivation, and this theory has contributed a lot to the development of teaching machine and program learning. The theory of operant conditioning had shown that learning proceeds most effectively if the learning material is so designed that it produces fewer chances of failure and more opportunity for success, and learner is given repeat feedback considering the accuracy of his learning, and learning is able to learn at his own pace. This theory has drawn the attention to the inadequacy and unsuitability of the reinforcement procedure adopted by our educational institution, and the development of human personality can be successfully manipulated through operant conditioning theory.